Welcome, everybody. This is your host, the one and only Mr. LP Stephen Sykes here with Enliven Radio. And my guest, who, for those who don't know, is a very wonderful and talented individual. And I'm going to let her take the opportunity to introduce herself.
Hey everybody, I'm Nefetari Spencer.
Nefetari Spencer, cool. And I want to apologize. I keep saying Nefetari, but Nefetari is much better.
Thank you.
A question: where did the name Nefetari come from? How did your parents or whoever gave you the name? Where did that come from?
My mother, this is all my mother's doing. She was reading, so she was reading like, I want my daughter to have, a powerful and different name. So she was reading about queens in Africa. So the story that she tells me is that it was between Nefertari, Dahomey, and it was like some other one. And I forget the other one because I was just so happy that it wasn't Dahomey. I was like, could you just imagine Dahomey? Hey, it's Dahomey. Everybody, what's up? Say what's up to Dahomey. Could you just
my
imagine?
gosh. I can imagine the difficulty when it comes to job interviews and make it through all of this.
Yes. I had a time as it is with Nefertari, so just imagine Dahomey. I'm like, Mom, thank you.
Well, you know what? People who are not educated enough and willing to look up and understand the kings and queens of where we come from, that's their loss,
Yes,
not yours.
yes, darling, yes.
Well, I'm going. Is it okay? I can say that Miss Nefertari or Miss Spencer?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
Yes.
Miss Queen
Yeah.
Nefertari.
Yes.
But first off, how is it out there in California these days for you?
It's great. It's been busy. You know what? With the holiday, I thought it was gonna slow down this week, but today I got a last minute audition this morning. Then I had like a screen test, if you will. And then I had a meeting. And then tomorrow I have an audition. I thought it was really going to slow down this week. I didn't think anything was going to happen. And it's been busy. So I can't complain.
Now, the thing I'm going to ask you, and I said it before, who are these people who's asking you to audition? Shouldn't they just give you the role, whatever you have your hands?
You know what? I feel like it should just be like, hey, Neff, we know what you can do. Here you go, boo. Sign on the dotted line. But it's not like that.
Oh,
So
well, no problem. The next time you need some references, make sure you tell them to give them my name and number. I'll be more than happy
absolutely
to.
done.
Okay, no problem.
Done.
So tell us where you're from, Miss Nefertari.
I'm from Chicago, originally from Chicago, and I grew up in the Beverly Longwood area, grammar school and right up till junior high. Junior high, we moved to the suburbs, so we moved to Glenwood, and I spent most of the other half of my teen years, if you will, in Glenwood, and so Chicago and Glenwood are pretty much home.
So we can scratch out you grew up in the mean streets of Chicago and you had to fight your way for bread and water every day.
Maybe. There was a little, clawing and scratching a little bit,
Was you a very good girl? Was you well behaved, or did your mom have a lot of hard times with you?
I was well behaved for the most part. I mean, I did some mischievous, typical teenage stuff. Like, I told my dad recently about the time when because I ended up from the age 8 on, went to live with my dad and his wife, my stepmother at the time. And they took a trip, and this was like their big trip out of the country or whatever have you, and I stole the car.
What?
So I stole the car. Yeah, I thought I was doing big things. Stole the car. Didn't do anything but just go visit some friends and just came back home. But I thought I was doing big things by taking the little car, out. And my stepmother's mom, my grandmother at the time, she was babysitting, but I knew babysitting. She was asleep. When she was asleep, it was a wrap. So I had a great time.
Oh my gosh! So let me guess. Given your age, did he still pull you over his knee and gave you a spanking? Or?
My dad was like, "What?" he was like, I should give you a whooping. I was like, it's too late. It's too late.
So what would you do to your child now if you had did this? If you found out she did this?
If they told me later in life,
What
like
now?
how I did with my father,
Yes.
I probably would laugh. That's bad, I know, but I probably would laugh. I probably would. Being like now knowing that it wasn't anything done that was detrimental or,
Gotcha.
no laws, well, technically laws were broken, but, nothing that, has damaged me for life.
So
You know what I mean? So.
you didn't go into the life of crime, and we have
Yeah,
this.
no.
Okay, that's a good.
No, I didn't start stealing cars or anything.
What was life in high school growing up as a young? It's fair to say. Is it fair to say you're an African American woman, or?
Yes.
Okay. It was
Absolutely.
how. Well, I wanted to be fair. I don't want to just assume, but how. Was life as a young girl in Chicago back then for you? We've heard a lot of different stories in the Windy City, excuse me. How was life growing up in Chicago as a young teenage girl, a black woman?
When I was in the city per se, so initially, like as a young girl, it was the East Side, which was a little gritty, and my memory of that, I really don't have much memory of it because I was a kid. But once I moved with my dad, that was in the Beverly area, and that was cool. I think my upbringing in Chicago, in the city, absolutely prepared me for life in general because I came across some people that you wouldn't necessarily want to come across, and I came across people who were just magnificent, like smart and just amazing. So I feel like Chicago prepares you for life because you get everything. You can come across the worst and you can come across the very best. So I really do feel like my upbringing in Chicago was amazing because it prepared me for life.
Not to get too far away, we're going to come back towards your career, but what's your view now as in your heart, and I can imagine it may be broken, regarding the state of Chicago, as with, especially with all the kids, especially young black children being killed, the gangs, the fighting, all the different things. You see the community, you even see well-known gangs trying to stop the murdering because it's so out of hand in the Midwest. Not just there, it's happening all over, but it's really pronounced in Chicago and Detroit. What is your thoughts and feelings towards this?
I hate it. I hate that the media, has definitely shed a light on it, because it's to my understanding that it was this bad at a different time, like when I was in the city. And I guess because I was kind of removed from it, I didn't really understand at that time. But now that I'm not there, again, I'm removed from it. But my parents are still there. My friends are still there. So I get to hear about, and also the media, I do get to hear about it. And I just hate to hear, I just hate it. I do have friends who actually work on the west side of Chicago at an outreach program that's called WACA, and they're on the west side of Chicago, where they actually go into the neighborhoods and they help these youths who need help. And just hearing the stories from them, like we lost one of our kids, just a teenager to a senseless crime, a kid who was trying to get himself together. He was in their after school program, just trying to get himself together. And, hearing them talk about losing kids, it's heartbreaking. It really is heartbreaking.
What could be done?
I'm sorry.
What could be done? Your thoughts of it? You've had the experience of being on both sides of it, and then also away, and then obviously being out west. You see the youth and things like that. Some good, some bad.
Yeah.
What could be done, you think, to help resolve this problem, specifically, I guess, nationally and towards Chicago?
I really do think that
Do you think it's the
I feel like,
guns?
is it the what? I'm
I
sorry.
said, do you think it's the guns, or like what ideas do you think may be an issue
I
there?
mean, obviously the guns are an issue, but I feel like if you can get your hands on a gun, you can get your hands on a book. And I feel like that is, it's not being pushed in at home. And if you don't have guidance at home to help you, think outside of what you're seeing on TV, what's being pushed every day, and maybe like the video games and things like that. If you don't have somebody else trying to instill in you values and morals and things like that, then what are you going to do to attain these luxuries that you're seeing some of your favorite people with? You understand what I'm saying? Like, I think that a lot of times the violence is glamorized, and they think these kids, they think this is what they need to do, or this is what they see in the neighborhoods or the hood, if you will. Like, it's supposed to be cool. But I think if there were other examples, more examples of ways out and the things that you can do to get out, I think that would absolutely help.
Going back towards your career, once you got through in high school, what was your dream growing up in high school? Was it always into the comedy realm, or did you thought of, say, I'm going to be an engineer? What was your thoughts of when you were in high school before you started thinking about college or life after high school?
High school, even as a kid, I've always wanted to be an actress. Always. I was afraid, though. I was afraid until my adult life. I went to school initially. My first year of college was to study psychiatry.
Okay.
And I ended up transferring out of there and went to an art school. I ended up getting my degree at SCAD, which is the Savannah College of Art and Design, and which was in film and art history. And they didn't have a drama program at the time when I was there. They have one now, but
paid by your endowment.
I'm sorry?
It's now there because it's paid by your endowment.
I hope so, yes. So working behind the scenes was something that I learned how to do there at school. But because we all shot our own projects, a lot of us were actors in our projects. And I was used in quite a few projects. And I always knew this was what I wanted to do with my life, but I was scared. I was scared.
When you were thinking about going into being an actress and then further on to a comedian, was it always just want to be an actress, or when did the comedy part settle into it?
Wow. The comedy part, I'm not exactly sure where it came from. I'm not exactly sure when I realized, okay, I'm funny. You know what? I would have to say I always loved being around my father and in the family, how my dad can say something and the entire like everybody would just die laughing. I always loved that. And I found myself emulating that around my friends, just my friends. And once I moved here to Los Angeles, I started doing improv. And at the time, I was always like the only African American woman in these classes, period.
Wow.
Like, for years, period, in these classes.
That's shocking considering the number of women actresses. Granted, a lot of them come up in different ways, but considering the breadth of women, which is refreshing, we see so many in actressing, drama, comedy, sketch, a whole bunch of different genres within acting. You're the only one?
Yeah, it was. I met one other girl one other girl. Her name was Kenya. It was she and her brother, and they weren't in entertainment. It was they did it because in corporate America, sometimes when you lecture or you have to, give speeches or things like that, they would send people to take an improv class to help them with public speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So they weren't even in entertainment.
Wow.
But it was very few African American people that I would meet at the improv schools here in classes. So when I came across people who actually trained and studied like at Groundlings and Improv Olympic and now UCB, it was cool. Like, oh my goodness, you train. It was really cool to run into people like that. So I think once I started training, it was when I realized, oh, I'm funny. I'll tell you a story.
Sure.
I was working behind the scenes for the Bernie Mac show, and Bernie was my mentor. And actually, before I started, I think I was taking classes. I was taking classes at the time, and I could make him laugh to the point of like, tears. So the fact that I can make one of the kings of comedy laugh like that, to me, says something. And he would be in my ear. He would tell me, to keep working on it, He told me, you're funny. And I took that to heart.
So your biggest influences were, obviously you had great support, your family, but your father was a big influence for you. And then also following through, Mr. Bernie Mac was a good influence in terms of pushing you forward to do the right, get involved and keep working on your craft.
Absolutely.
How was it? What time did you, or how old were you when you moved to California, and what was the transition like?
The transition to California was right after college. I actually went back home to Chicago for 1 year, okay. And I ended up working at a television station. It was a Christian television station in Chicago, and I was an assistant director.
Oh, wow.
And I was the youngest assistant director that they had, and I was African American woman, so it was like a big deal. And at my church, the AV person, or if you will, like who was over audio, video, who would record all the, sermons and all that stuff, and knew I had a background in it. Anyway, he worked for Harpo, and he's to this day still works with Oprah. Like, you see him always, like he's one of her main camera guys. So he got me a position opened up over there. He got me an interview. So I handed in my resume and everything. I got an interview there, and I got like through 2 rounds of interviews at Harpo. And once I didn't get the position, I didn't get the job, because they said to me, they was like, we think that you have other aspirations and that you probably wouldn't stay here for a long period of time. And as you know, like Oprah likes for her people to stay for a long period of time.
For life.
Yeah. And so I was bummed, and I felt like, why, if I'm not going to work for Oprah, which is like Chicago media, then I might as well move to LA.
Okay.
So that was the reason why I decided to move to LA. I packed up my car. I didn't have anywhere to live. I had nowhere to stay. I did not have a job.
You drove to California?
I drove to California from Chicago.
You go, girl. How long did that take you? How long did that take you? What was the trip?
It actually took longer than it was supposed to, because it was a blizzard in Chicago. It was a blizzard in Chicago the day I was supposed to leave, like New Year's Day. So I had to wait 3 days before the roads were cleared. It was an awful blizzard. So they cleared the roads, and then we heard that there was another one coming. So we had to leave. It was myself, another girl that I worked with at the TV station, and a girl that went to a neighboring college. She was in my senior film, my thesis film, and she always knew she wanted to be an actress. So we kept in touch, and she was like, I want to move to California. So she took the bus to Chicago. I picked her up, and it was myself and the 2 other girls. We realized, we have to beat this blizzard that's coming. we have to go ahead and go. So we ended up going ahead and getting on the road 3 days later, mind you, but it took us an entire day to get out of Illinois because the roads were so bad.
Oh my! And then you
yeah, but we landed here like January 7th.
Wow!
So that's my anniversary date.
Oh my! Well, now, so happy anniversary is coming up for you.
Yeah, it's coming up.
So what was that like? 3 women in the car sharing, and then y'all, no food, no job, no direction. What was the first job you had going out there?
My first job was at a commercial production company. I was a receptionist.
How long it took you to get that job from when you came out?
I landed that job, I think, within a month. I think within a month I was working there.
So you had to hold out for a while and do what you can.
Yeah. We got lucky. This is how I knew things were this was supposed to be. Ironically, at the TV station, there was this crew who came in from California who needed our TV station, and they needed us. So I ended up being the AD, the assistant director for their project. Come to find out, they're out of California, Burbank to be exact. And we myself and the other girl who worked there, we're thinking about moving out there in a couple of months. And we exchanged information with the director, and he was like, listen, if you all are serious about it, you look me up when you come to town. So once we finalized all of our plans and this was really going to happen, we called him and said, listen, we're going to come to town. And he's like, okay, you call me when you come to town. So give him a call. The day that we got into town and called him, he had just moved into a new house.
Wow.
So his old house was available for exactly 1 week because they closed on their house early. So we had water and power for 1 week in his empty house. So we went to go buy air mattresses, and we slept on air mattresses in this empty house while we looked for apartments. And literally that last day, we found a 3-bedroom apartment.
You go for $8 million $8 million a month, right?
At the time, it was a lot of money, but we made it work. We did what we had to do.
Wow.
We did what we had to do.
I appreciate it. Now, it sounds like you had a lot of directing things going on, like experience in producing, directing, and things like that, and then you're always studying. Was that just by happenstance your way to get into the field? You figured, okay, I'm going to just direct and work my way into the acting, so behind the camera before you got in front of the camera? Because usually you see the transition in front of the camera and then they want to get behind the camera. So how did that dichotomy work for you?
Once I went to Savannah College of Art and Design, I knew that I was going to work behind the scenes for sure. I knew I was going to work behind the scenes. I knew that I was going to produce and direct. My coming out of SCAD, that was my goal, to be a producer and to direct television.
Okay.
So within 6 months, I landed a job at Warner Brothers Television. I worked for main production, so I worked for the vice president of television at Warner Brothers, and within a year I ended up moving from under him into coordinating television shows. So I was on a fast track to producing. As a matter of fact, I coordinated 2 shows for Chuck Lorre, and this was right before he did 2.5 Men and Big Bang Theory. So the 2 pilots that he did prior to those, they didn't get picked up, but I was the coordinator for those shows. So also for Jamie Foxx did a sketch show. So I got to work with Jamie for a while. So I've had some.
You had a lot
I've worked with some cool people.
You had a lot of good breaks going in through, and the good Lord was looking down on you and all these
Yeah,
opportunities.
I would agree. I would agree.
Which now going into the comedy, you've gotten into all of this. What got you into in front of the camera now instead of behind it in terms of comedy? Did you start off doing stand up, or did you just start to say, "Hey, I need you to fill in this role," and it transitioned from there?
How I started with the comedy thing was, again, making people laugh. And then I went to study comedy doing improv. So with the improv training, once you would get up in levels, you had to actually do improv on stage. So I had to perform with improv groups, and we started groups and did improv groups. And it just so happens that myself and two other guys, we ended up creating a sketch comedy show, and we brought in one of my good girlfriends. So the four of us, we started a sketch comedy show, and that was, this was while I was still working behind the camera for a while, and I knew this was what I wanted to do.
What was your most favorite sketch that you've done in getting into this field? What was your most favorite sketch that you wrote, and what was the one that you wrote that just totally bombed and you was like, oh man, I should not have done it?
Wow, that's hard. That's a hard question. My favorite? I have so many favorites.
What's the first one that comes? What's the first one that comes to your mind?
I think the one that was kind of like the first breakout sketch. I didn't write it, but I played Condoleezza Rice, and it's called Condolicious. So it's me rapping Fergie's Fergalicious, but I'm Condolicious. So it's on YouTube. It's like Condi Rice raps or whatever. And this was at the time, like, this was before like YouTube was giving deals and stuff. Like I had like a couple of million hits, and it was really cool. So
it's funny if you could get a couple of million hits now off the top, it would have been something different.
Yeah.
What was the worst sketch?
I like to say I'm a pioneer of the million hits on YouTube.
There you go. Hey, we're gonna get you on Daily Motion, BMO, a whole bunch of them. Get you on all of them.
Yeah.
What was the worst sketch you done that you feel like, oh man, I wrote this and you thought it was good, but unfortunately not all the ideas work out well. So what was the one you said, darn, didn't work?
There was a sketch that I wrote for the all-girl group that I created, Elite Delta Force 3. It was a parody of School Days, and it was political. So I made it where Good and Bad Hair, that song. I made it where it was about Michelle Obama. So basically, I made it about the DNC and the RNC. So it's the Democratic versus the Democratic, National Convention versus the Republican National Convention. So it just so happens that both conventions I had happening at the same time, and each side met in the bathroom. And it wasn't about hair, but it was talking about politics, and it was just talking about their different agendas. So I wouldn't say it was the worst sketch, but it was okay,
Now, one question I want to add, a question you transitioned to it very well. Your sketch comedy team. Tell us a little bit about it.
The all-female sketch comedy group that I co-created with a good friend of mine, Angela. It's called Elite Delta Force 3. It was seven girls, and basically our theme was, we wanted to save the world one sketch at a time, or balancing the budget one sketch at a time. That was our thing. That happened shortly after I got the SNL call to go and test for Saturday Night Live, and I didn't get it. I was like, hey, I want to create my own outlet. So that's what happened. And I knew some girls that I already performed with before in the first sketch group that I was part of and co-created as well, called Cleo's Apartment. And so I pretty much just pulled pulled those girls and was like, hey, let's do this, let's make this work. So that's pretty much how we became.
How is the group going now? I
We
saw.
haven't.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, I saw the video, and I was going to transition to it shortly. The Real Housewives of Civil Rights that I saw, and
Yeah.
another video did. How's the group going now? What are some of the things y'all doing now?
Right now, as far as like Elite Delta Force 3, EDF 3, we haven't done anything on stage in a bit. Like I think it's been like 2 years. Two of the girls are married. They had 2 kids, so we kind of took a little bit of downtime. One of the girls, she was on Afion's show, and she went on to start writing. So she kind of everybody just kind of got busy, and it became hard for me to keep it going. So I think what we're going to do, because now there's a void and so many people here, at least because we would perform here, keep asking us, you guys need to come back. Like, when is the next show? I love the show.
Because I love the website, and I love all the things that you guys are doing with that. And obviously I love the things you got going on, but I just thought that you didn't see anything like that.
Exactly. That was there's a void. There's a void there, and I felt like we were servicing that void. You don't see that anywhere. So I think next year definitely we'll be back up on stage, and we'll definitely start shooting more sketches.
All right. What y'all think about maybe traveling? I know it's going to be hard with the children and other things, but have y'all thought about traveling? Because, hey, I would love to see y'all come around the East Coast and Richmond and Midwest, wherever we need to get you.
Absolutely. We did a show actually in Chicago, and it's the funniest thing. This guy, we want to talk about this promoter who, he saw our stuff, and he's like, you guys should come to Chicago. And I'm like, yeah, that's my hometown. And perform at this particular theater, and he was supposed to do all of these things. He promised all these things, and he didn't. And it was a 1,000-seat theater, and we had 2 shows on one night. The first show I think was only maybe 50 people in a 1,000-seat theater. So we always say, yeah, we went to Chicago and we played to 1,000 seats. So
well, you did, but it just wasn't 1,000 people.
The second show was maybe a couple of hundred, but
events happen. Events happen, promoting, and sometimes I don't understand with 7 beautifully talented women. I'm surprised that the place wasn't a mob scene just to get in there.
He didn't do what he was supposed to do, or what he said he was going to do. And had I known that being my hometown, I could have just, Twitter, Facebook, made some calls myself. If he wasn't going to do his job, I could have made it happen. But hindsight is 2020. Definitely, going into that again, I know exactly how to handle that.
How did the Real Housewives of Civil Rights come about? I'm going to ask you about that, because a lot of people kept asking me, it's like, what in the world came up with that idea? I thought it was ingenious, and especially getting Marilyn Monroe in this. So, her. Did y'all just forget about another person and say, we're just going to insert her? Tell us about that.
Okay. How we came up with that was myself and Angela, who played Marilyn Monroe. Mm-hmm. She and we are the creators of EDF3. So we were talking, and everybody kept talking about the Housewives of Atlanta. And I was like, I don't watch this. I don't want to watch the reality stuff. I don't want to watch reality TV. It's taking away the jobs from actors, and but whatever. People were talking about it, so I'm like, I need to at least know what's going on. So I had to watch it, and I watched a marathon one day, and I got sucked in, and it was. I found myself laughing out loud at it. Nene, I can't even front. I love Nene, but
you have to be disgusted by all the stuff that goes on now with that and all the other shows. I can't imagine you still
I know. It's just they're the milder of the ones that are on the air, which is, crazy. But so I'm talking to Ange. I'm like, Ange, yo, we got to do something with the Housewives. I was like, you got to see. I was like, we got to do something with the Housewives. So we couldn't think of anything. about it. And I think it was like Black History Month was coming up or something like that. Angie called me one night and she was like, yo, what about the Real Housewives of Civil Rights? And as soon as she said that, I fell out laughing because I could completely see it. I was like, oh my goodness. So according to the girls, and because I directed our show, I was like, Lachey, Maya Angelou. I was like, me, I could be Betty Shabazz. I was like, and we were trying to fit it into like the Atlanta Housewives and like the storyline of what was going on with them. So, Ange sat down and wrote it out, but we came up with those jokes. Like we came up with stuff together in terms of like, cause she wasn't really like watching the show that much. So I would be like, yo, there's a friendship contract. So it needs to be a friendship contract between Betty and Coretta. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How did you pull Wayne Brady and a couple of other people in this?
Okay, so Wayne Brady, how that came about was we were performing in the LA Comedy Festival and we were performing against this other group. And he actually was there to support the other group, but ended up, after the show was over, like, yo, what do I need to do to be down with you guys? Like, I have to be a part of this. Like, what can we do? So it ended up, forging a great friendship with Wayne just because he liked what we did and he believed in us. So that's how that friendship came about.
Now, you played Betty Shabazz, I believe, in the
yes.
sketch. Okay. How did you, granted y'all wrote the thing, how did you come around molding yourself into that? And also the makeup and the costumes, that's really making me laugh at all of this. How did all that come about?
Listen, let me tell you, the makeup and costumes, we would make it work. We would be at Hollywood Toys trying to pull stuff together. We would be at the thrift shop trying to figure out what can we would pull and borrow from each other and just make it work.
Oh, y'all.
Like, literally, that's what it was. We made it work. Any money that I had, if we made any money on our shows, it went back into production videos and stuff like that.
I'm very appreciative. One of the things I'm always, as with this, empowering women. I'm always very enamored by seeing a group of women, regardless of different views, especially young Black women and professional ones, getting along to come to a common goal. Granted, we all had different agreements and fights, but because of so much negativity out there, and there's a lot of what gets me, there's a lot of positive things, including your group. It's just that it's not put up as front street as all the other foolishness that's out there, and I'm very appreciative of what you do with that, and I thank you from my heart regarding that.
Well, thank you.
what do you see? What's on Miss Queen Nefetari? What did I say it correctly?
Yeah. No,
Okay, cool. What is on your next track like? I know you got some projects, some you can't mention, but what is on track for you this coming year?
I think 2014 is going to be my breakout year. I really do believe that there's some things on the horizon.
I thought your breakout year was 5 years ago.
I wish.
I thought it was, and you've been doing wonderful ever since.
I wish. Hey, until people know who I am, then it's kind of, I'm unknown to Hollywood. I think 2014 is going to be the year to break me out. I do believe that. I believe 2014 is that year. There's some things percolating.
Okay.
As we speak, that I can't mention that. God willing, we'll be going forward, and it's going to be great.
Well, when you do get those things, you promise to let us know here at Enliven Radio so we know what's going on.
Absolutely.
What do you like most? And I'm gonna throw a twist in there since you're from Chicago. Mm-hmm. Where, if you had money, And then to the
Uh-huh.
point where you could set up your own production studio, comedy, what have you. Would you set it up in L.A., New York, or Chicago, your hometown?
I would set it up here only because I'm here. Like this is my home base right now in terms of like I know all the talent here. I know the locations. I know studios. I just know everything here. So I
Mm-hmm.
would set it up here. If I could shoot in Chicago, that would be a dream come true. That would be a
Okay.
dream job.
And then you're gonna have Oprah come by and tell her thank you for not hiring me.
Absolutely. Hey, if it were not for not getting that job at the Oprah Winfrey Show, I would not have driven cross country to follow my dreams. And you know, she's big about following your dreams.
Very much. What is it? Oh, now that you're in LA, I'm gonna hit you up with some a little different questionings.
Okay.
What's your favorite food besides now you're in LA and then now you're in Chicago? What's your favorite food?
What's my favorite food here in LA?
Yes, versus what you had in Chicago.
Versus Chicago?
Yes.
Oh,
I knew I was gonna get you. Do I need
my favorite food here? I that's hard. Let me see.
to?
I like cupcakes. Is that bad?
That's no problem. That's not a problem with that.
There is a cupcake place here close to me, like in Beverly Hills. That listen, it's a red velvet cupcake there that
Mm-mm.
I yeah
No
I
problem.
love. Um, home in Chicago,
Hmm.
man. You know what? This is bad because it's all like sugary snacks and stuff. Uh,
What do
I
you
can
do?
talk about all the snacks.
Well, now that you mention it, because see, I see you making it easy on me. Now that you mention it, what do you do to keep yourself in such good shape? That a lot of
Oh,
people, a lot of see all the stuff like that. Is it the running around that you have to do to, get the auditions? Is it the running around from your writing? It going to the banks counting your $1 million to make sure they got your money in the bank, or,
yeah.
or like what is it that you're doing to keep yourself in good shape?
I actually like to work out. It's been a part of my life since I was young. My dad was a coach. I played sports, and so that was something my dad and I we would bond over. He would go to the gym when I was young, and they had like the little room where the kids could play. So I would be in the little room with the kids. Man, I couldn't be in the gym with my dad.
Mm.
Even to this day, when I go home to Chicago to visit, my father and we go to the gym together.
Oh my.
Yeah, we
It,
do.
it,
I like to work out. I mean, I've done a marathon. I did my first triathlon last year,
oh.
and I like to work out.
Did
So that's
are
part of
you
me.
are you have you tried the Ironman or even now the fitness what is the games the ESPN I forgot the new ones
Like any
now.
of the X Games stuff.
No, the what's the ones that they got you doing the stationary bikes, the fitness games,
Oh, CrossFit.
CrossFit. Thank you. What have you
I
tried
did
the Iron?
CrossFit. I did CrossFit here in LA probably for about 3 or 4 months. It's pretty hardcore. I personally didn't like it that much. Just because I feel like I didn't really want to build and lift and throw up weight like that. Like to me, that it just wasn't fun. That wasn't fun.
Because I'm
So
imagining like you're a pretty cut young lady, but you're also very you're thin, but you got a lot of strength in your arms and legs. You're pretty cut. How did you like? You didn't like that jerking and then across swinging
no,
across the bars and all that stuff. I
no.
thought that could be very taxing on a woman in your body frame.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like it too much. That was just me. Personally, I didn't like it that much. In terms of like the CrossFit, that the like jerk, the pull, the throw up, the weight, I didn't like that at all. Now the triathlon training, that was pretty hardcore. And I really, really would love to do an Ironman, but the thought of doing that swim, then getting on the bike for 40 miles, and then running a marathon at the end after I've done the swim and the bike, there's no way.
See, and the thing is really the swim is almost the hard. It seems to me. I know it sounds kind of crazy. I did a mini one many years ago, and because I have asthma really bad, I couldn't do it. But like I did the one where we swam, we biked for 5 miles, we run for like 3 miles, a little mini one. I about died off of that one. But the swimming was the hard part because I could swim very well, but then you have to do the butterfly and all the other stuff to keep up pace with everything else. I did good. I finished. It was like 500. I finished in the top 30 on that one. The rest of it I bombed. I was in 400s after that.
I didn't know that, I could do a sprint or something like that. I trained and ended up doing the Olympic race distance for my first triathlon, which I didn't know I could do a shorter race. I didn't even know that was an option. Because I did it, I trained with the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. So I raised money. So I did it as like charity while, so I can train with people who can, keep me from dying, because I am very much afraid of the ocean. So not only did I overcome a fear of the ocean, but I'm like, at least I, raise money, to help for a cause. But yeah, you're right. The swim part was the hardest part.
How did, are you feeling like now that you're a very obviously athletic young woman, do you feel like you're going to try maybe make a push for one of the Olympic trials or anything of that nature?
No. Who are we kidding?
Hey, you done got this far and you doing all this. Keep on pushing. Stick to your strong suits, huh?
Yeah, let me stick to eating cupcakes.
No problem. What type of charities are you working with in California? You mentioned the Leukemia Society. What other ones are you working with or have you associated with?
That's actually the only one that I've worked with several times. Like the marathon that I did, I raised money for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, and then the triathlon was Leukemia Lymphoma Society. There is one group that every year I'm drawing a blank, I'm sorry, but I actually get my friends and we go, and it's for the homeless, and they get these duffel bags, and we basically do an assembly line where we fill the duffel bags with like soap and sponges, deodorant.
Oh man, awesome.
So it's basically all these bags that they hand out right before Christmas or Christmas Day. So I always get my friends to it's called the Giving Spirit. There you go, the Giving Spirit, and I think they're based right out of like Westwood, California. So I always get some friends and we go over to this church not too far from here, and we volunteer our time there. We do that. We assemble those bags for the homeless.
Do you go to the church where the preachers of LA are?
No.
just wanted to clarify. I had to ask
Not currently. I have attended. No.
I'll save you on that one. I'll save you.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm going to not beat you on it because obviously you've talked enough and there's plenty of information out there. But your experience with Saturday Night Live or just auditioning for it and other ones, for those who don't know, what are your thoughts towards and I'm going to put it out there, to me, the uneducated, I'm going to try to say it nicely, the uneducated and unfounded comments that Kenan Thompson made and others saying that black women are not ready, or just the fact that black women are not being considered overall?
I actually feel like the comment that was made, I don't know if it was fair to Kenan, because I don't think the comment was actually black women aren't ready, but I think it was taken that way. I do feel like it started the conversation that needed to be had. So I'm grateful for that. Just to look at it in a positive manner, and because it was kind of something that it just hasn't been discussed. It's been 6 years, and it just hadn't been discussed. So I'm happy that it started this shitstorm, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
It started this like storm of like, hey, that's a horrible thing to say. There are women who out there who are ready, and y'all need to get it together over there. So I'm glad it started this conversation.
I guess for me, I've always had this conversation every year. It's just that it seemed like it got more of a driving kick after that. And the issue I have is that it's been a couple of months now or so, and he's had ample opportunity to clarify his statement or, to fix it, but there was no effort made, and he has not tried to clarify or fix his statement regarding to see if it was taken out of context. Because I really thought when you see comments like that, and it's pretty out there. But I try to be mindful of the fact that, we don't know who the interviewer, how the question was put out there, and are they using this as a way to get themselves ahead. And so now you see these comments, but he has made no effort to clarify his statement. So it kind of leads me to believe that he really do feel this way.
I don't know what he feels, and I hope that's not the case. I mean, I really do hope that's not the case. But again, I would like to stay positive about it. I think because the conversation has now become this conversation amongst everybody. Now it is definitely a topic that everybody's talking about. I think that's great because they're gonna cast somebody. They're gonna cast somebody 2014 for the show.
Right, because I felt like after Ellen Cleghorn left, there was a big movement then, and I remember Eddie Murphy would say something. I remember Richard Pryor years ago was saying something about after he left that you need to be more diverse. Not that he left, but when he, I can't remember if he guest starred or something. I just remember a comment years ago that he made about it, and also Eddie when that came through, that they would like to see more diversity. Did you catch the episode that Kerry Washington went on?
Oh yeah, absolutely. What
did you think?
I saw that.
What did you think about that episode? I thought in one way it's the opening monologue. I wanted to laugh, and partly I did, but the other half laugh, I felt like they kind of just tossed it in the face because they addressed it, but in a comedic way. But instead of taking an opportunity to say, "Hey, we make a mistake. We're sorry. We're going to work on it," they just kind of made a joke of it and moved on.
Well, I felt like here's what I felt. I felt like she was great. I really did. I thought she was fearless. I thought she was great. I did want different sketches for her. Like I wish I was in that room. I could have been there like pitching like, oh my gosh, she's gotta do we gotta do a scandal parody sketch. I mean, obviously that's like low hanging fruit because that's what you would expect, but I mean, it was so many opportunities that they had to use this woman to showcase a lot of the jokes or get a lot of the jokes in that they couldn't do because they don't have a black woman. So to me, I was just like, oh my goodness, they could have did this, they could have did that. That's what I was hoping for.
Because I was like, when I think about it, not just in SNL, but just in all these different production meetings and variety of things of businesses, marketing, they don't have enough diversity, especially black women, because I'm thinking like, when y'all put up something, somebody has to be in the listening ear like, this may sound offensive, and you got and not the stereotype, but you got 30 people, and maybe half of them, about 5 out of 30 baby women, and nobody black, nobody of any ethnic minority. Like, I think of the Mary J. Blige commercial, okay? Somebody besides her, somebody in that pitch room had to realize this may not go over very well, Or I give you one few years, about maybe 10 years before that. Do you remember that McDonald's commercial? They had the two guys. It was like, "Yo, here's my Big Mac and whatever and things like that." And it was like, what are y'all thinking? And I'm thinking like, you be not you, but the whoever African American or black person they put in the role. Gee, well, here's the money, but do you not think about? Did you read the script before you accept this? What do you? It's just like, yo, I'm gonna get killed for this. It's like
that McDonald's commercial made me laugh out loud. I mean, I died. I did a parody of it. It's online. It's I think it's on my YouTube channel. I think that's the only video I uploaded to my personal YouTube channel. But I did do a parody of the McDonald's chicken crispy wrap. I thought it was hysterical. Like, to me, I loved.
It was KFC.
I loved it. It was funny to me.
It was the KFC you're talking about, the Mary J. Blige.
Oh yeah, yes. I'm sorry. KFC.
But like
that to me, I thought it was hysterical. I understand why people were up in arms about it, because it's like, but to me, I laughed. I really did. Like, that's just. It did make me laugh out loud. I know.
What do we have to do to get people like you and other people with you on the inside, on both sides of it? Like, you're obviously on a producing, director, and you can act out the roles and add a comedy twist or even a serious side. What can we do to get people like you more in these production meetings and these marketing meetings and these business meetings? I'm screaming to the high hills about that.
Oh man, if I had an inside, trust me, I would use it. Trust me, I would use it. I think it would. I think a lot of these businesses and corporations, they do need somebody on the inside, and they don't. And I think a lot of times they may think, well, we don't know anybody or we don't know anyone. And I think because a lot of times, the circles are kind of closed. So it's kind of hard to break in and get into those circles and be like, hey, I'm available. Talent does exist. And I think it's just, a lot of times people in those circles, they just exist in their own circles. Mm-hmm. So therefore they really don't know what's going on outside of their circles, nor do they look outside of their circles to see what's going on.
Because the only form of entertainment that I see that has extreme amount of diversity is in comic books. And I say that for years, because long before everything else, it was not just being a comic book fan, but they're always introducing numerous characters of different ethnic backgrounds, gender, all these other different things. There are gay superheroes, there's transgender superheroes, there's Middle Eastern superheroes. There was a new one that's now the new Miss Marvel, and she's also Middle Eastern descent. So there's so many different things out there, but that just has not transferred to the other different mediums out there, and it's just interesting.
It would be awesome if that were the case. I wish television was. I wish television was like that. I really do. I think that it may be starting to change a little bit more, because I do think that the shows with the multi-ethnic casts, they have great ratings because everybody's watching it. Exactly. So I do think that it's starting to change. I mean, normally there's only there's only one black guy or there's only one black woman, but now we're starting to definitely see more black men on, more than just one on the show. But we definitely got to do more for the African American women or ethnic women in general.
Or
you know what I mean?
Stop killing us off. Stop killing the women off. What's your favorite show right now?
Ooh, I think my favorite show right now is New Girl. Okay. I love New Girl. I love Zoe Deschanel. I just love that show. I laugh out loud at that show. It's hysterical.
What's your favorite show of all time besides Cosby Show?
Right.
Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
Of all time, there's so many.
I figured that's going to be a difficult question considering you're not looking at it from a entertainment value. You're looking at it from a production value, and that's why your view is very interesting.
Ooh, it's so many. Ooh.
Okay, let me break it down simpler for you. What do you think was the most well put together show, production wise?
Well, production wise,
Yes, production wise.
that's hard. That's hard. And like,
No one asked you that
man,
question. No one asked you that question before.
no, I really, if my life depended on this right now, I would be dead. I'm dead right now. I cannot tell you like my favorite in production value wise.
Because you obviously, when you watch something, I know in your head is saying they could have angled this better. They could have brought this out more and focused on this. You're too creative and thoughtful of all these different things not to pay attention to it.
There's so many. Like writing to me, Breaking Bad was amazing. Amazing. It was an amazing show. That show took me on a ride that I did not expect.
Okay.
And Game of Thrones is gorgeous. It's gorgeous. It's beautifully shot.
What?
I love also The Walking Dead. They do a great job. They do a great job as well with their sets and everything. And one of my all-time favorite series endings was 6 Feet Under.
Mm,
6 Feet
that's
Under to
very
me, the
good.
way that show ended, I felt like that was the first time I ever watched a show from beginning to end, and they ran me through it. They took me through it. I really absolutely loved how they ended that show. How they ended that show was amazing. It was the best series ending to me. A show that I think that was before its time that I absolutely love and I still can watch to this day. I have the DVDs, the box sets, is a show called Soap with the young Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal, Robert Guillaume.
Yes.
And all of them. That was a
Yes.
very good. The writing in that show was awesome. But
I love that show.
what a lot of the people in that show, and correct me if I'm wrong, some of the people are same people on Carol Burnett show in Newhart.
You mean writing and directing wise?
No, some of the people that worked on Soap were the same as some previous people that was on the Carol Burnett show.
Um,
I'm trying to remember because they had one of those 6 degrees of separation type deals, and I remember something about that, and I was
I'm trying to
wondering.
remember everybody because like on Carol Burnett, it was pretty much Tim Conway, Vicki Lawrence, Carol Burnett. I can't remember everybody, but she had a pretty tight group. I can't remember everybody, but I love her show as well. I loved Carol Burnett. As a matter of fact, as a kid, I think like the reruns would come on WGN in Chicago. It was like the Muppet Show and then Carol Burnett. So that was I guess maybe that was probably my introduction to sketch comedy was Carol Burnett and the Muppet Show.
Well, being from Chicago, WGN was the first major superstation, local station,
Oh
but
wow.
that was a superstation. Then it was always an argument which one was the first, that one or TBS, but TBS was not available locally as it was WGN. So that was
Yeah,
one of the
WGN.
first
WGN was awesome.
and everything.
Still it.
Which one you prefer to do if you had an opportunity? Do you like working with TV or movies more?
Ooh, right now, television. Right now, television is it's every week. It's constant. I like that. Movies, you do it and you're done, and then you that character is done. I absolutely love films and features, but right now, television.
Mm. Yeah. What do you feel? What was your favorite movie? Or what was? I know you like. I'm hitting you hard here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What was the last movie you went out to go see right now?
What was the last movie I went to go see?
Mm-hmm.
I just went to go see Best Man Holiday.
How did you like the movie?
Um, I liked it. There were
Oh,
some there were some things that I felt like I was like, come on, but overall, I was happy that everybody came back, and overall, I was pleased with the movie. I was very pleased with it. I was happy to see all of them back on the screen again. Like I kind of felt like those are characters that we can relate to on a everyday basis. So I was really happy to see that.
I felt that there were characters you could relate or you could see somebody on an adult level. I personally couldn't directly relate to any of the characters. I can relate certain instances with them, but not directly. No, I felt
Hmm.
like some of the shows, some of the themes were forced to try to make it work
Uh-huh.
in there. But I thought it was a
Yeah.
good show, a good quality show. I was disappointed, and I had a lot of people gave me some agreed, some didn't. I know it cost around 17, 18 million to make and things like that. And I was disappointed that it only made 30 million the first week out. 30, 35, somewhere around there. Um, and I say that because, it's so hard now. Granted, in terms of money, yes, it made money. And I'm not expecting it to be the comic book movies or things that's made $300, $400 million. But my thing is a good movie that didn't contain, extreme graphic nudity, crazy cursing, all the other things that you typically associate with urban black cast. And now that we had an opportunity to show our efforts, I was hoping that it could come out and say 50 million, so they could say, "Whoa!" Versus, okay, it made the same money as a Tyler Perry movie, first come out, and I'm not the biggest fan of that. So I'm thinking like, okay, to me it was a much better movie than any of his movies, and the production value, all what went into it, we had the opportunity to show on the masses Hollywood is a market. I feel like if Best Man Holiday makes $100 million, I bet you right now Hollywood will greenlight a lot more black movies or just movies featuring more black characters a lot faster than it says okay 30 million because
Maybe 15 years later.
exactly, because like now, as the saying goes, it may not be about the color of his skin, but the color of that dollar, and green rules all,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So
That's what it's about. I mean, the bottom line is, it's about that. I mean, is it, I forget, it wasn't New Line or whoever distributed that movie. The head person, she didn't think that opening weekend it would make that much money. She even, was on record saying she didn't think it would make that much. She didn't perceive it or could see it making that much money. And so the fact that it went beyond what people were saying it was going to make that opening weekend, that made me really happy. It did. And I know that they were in talks with Malcolm Lee again to go ahead and make a third one, which I think to me just like, oh, just let it be.
let it die. I don't think some
Let
things need to
let
be
it
written.
be, because I don't want it. I don't want them to rush out a third one and not be good. Like I just don't want that to happen. But not to say that the script won't be great, but I just don't want it to be too soon. I kind of feel like let it go out on this high that they have, but
Like you
again,
see,
it's about money. So
it's like you see what happens. Okay, fine. I don't want it to get to one of those straight to DVD things, like
yeah,
like you see, for example, what's that cheerleading movie?
Oh, bring it on.
Yeah, now there's like 10 of them afterwards.
Yeah.
All straight to DVD,
Yeah.
or you catch on USA at 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
What is, not to keep you further, and I appreciate your time very much. Last question, what do you have a wonderful, and hopefully he doesn't take it, but right now you have a wonderful thing that you've give to us in this world, and I thank you. And we've just been blessed to be able to share it across the world. What do you want left to say about, okay, Miss Nefetari Spencer? What do you want them to say? Not on a gravestone, but if a kid got the chance to read a biography, see this video, see your all the shows and everything that you worked on, what do you want them to say to take from your work?
She changed the world. She changed their minds about the perception that people have about Black women. The perception that people have, she changed the negative perception that people have about Black women. That's not every person, every Black woman you see is not that negative stereotype that you may come across.
You're not the get it girl. You're not the angry loud woman. You're not ready to
You know what I'm saying, but there's a time and place for that. I can get with you now if you need me to. No, I'm just saying.
We're gonna be our inside voice, good people then.
Right, but that's not the only choice. Is all I'm saying. It's just that's not the only choice. That's not all we have to see. And I would love to be a pioneer in changing that.
I thank you very much, Ms. Nefetari Spencer, for all that you've done. For our listeners and viewers out there, how can they see, where on YouTube they can find you and webpage and things like that? How could they see your work?
Right now, you can go to my webpage. I'm building it now because I'm so overdue. It's nefetarispencer.com. And my name is spelled Nef like Frank, ETARISPENCER. So nefetarispencer.com. I believe Twitter, I'm Nefetari S. And I think YouTube, it's Nefetari S. Or it may be Nefetari Spencer. So it's all on my website, nefetarispencer.com. You can find my Facebook, you can find my Twitter, you can find my YouTube, and you can find my Elite Delta Force 3 stuff there. And I'll even point you to some of the Cleo's apartment stuff, and also the Message Show, which was how we, got funded through HBO to do, we did a Wire sketch. We did a Pimps Up, Bears Down sketch. We did a bunch of sketches that were before their time. So I would love the people to check that stuff out, because I think if you're a fan of The Wire, you would love this sketch that we did.
Where's that sketch located? Where those sketches are located again?
It's on YouTube. That one is on YouTube. I think if you search for it on YouTube, it'll say Wired to the Max. That was one of the first sketches that I ever shot. One of the first sketches that I ever shot.
Okay, not a problem. And
that was what'd you say?
No, I said no. Continue about that Wire to the Max.
Oh, Wire to the Max is one of the very first sketches I think that I actually shot. That one and another one called Pimps Up, Bears Down. I don't know if we posted that one online though. That was kind of wild business, but
oh gosh.
Yeah.
If I can't find it, I'm going to hit you up for that link and things.
Okay.
Last question I've neglected to ask: what would you give an advice to other young women or other actors or actresses or people trying to get behind the film or do stand-up comedy, improv, all the things that you've worked on, and to another young girl who says, you know what, I'm going to drive out to California and sleep in my car and make it big like you? What's your advice to the next person coming up?
Prepare yourself, and by preparing yourself, study everything, know everything, do your homework, go to class, go get into those improv classes where you know your competition is going to be. Go to where the competition is going to be and go and learn and flourish there so you can be ready when you come out here, because LA can chew you up and spit you out quick. It is definitely not a place for you got to have some thick skin out here, because you hear no a hell of a lot more than you hear yes. So study, be ready.
You're here today, going yesterday.
Yeah, I've seen it happen to so many talented people, but you got to be here for the long haul.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Nefetari Spencer, for your time and patience, and thank you for supporting Enliven Radio.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
When I walk into the room, white people want to shoot me.
I'm the wife of a king, so I always do it big.
I don't like taking a back seat to anyone.
Some call me a talentless gold digger. I don't even know what those words mean.
I am the curve of my hips. I rise.
I will not stop till my people are free. We are not to be detained.
This season on The Real Housewives of Civil Rights.
I love Betty, but sometimes she can be a bit too much. What's a friend contract?
It says right here that we'll be friends for a whole year, unless one of us gets killed by the FBI. Sign it. Sign it.
Oh, no, I'm all right, Betty.
Oh, Coretta, sign it.
Oh, Betty, no,
Sign it.
Oh, well, I don't have a pen.
By any means necessary. I thought it would be nice for the girls to meet for brunch and catch up. Oh, well, I'm so glad you all could make it.
Me too. This is so nice.
Not sure what I'm supposed to say here.
I don't know what made Marilyn think she could sing.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
I wrote a hit song for her, and she still can't get it right.
Don't be tardy for the rally. Ooh, oh, tardy for the rally. Ooh, oh.
Now I had a dream for Coretta and me, but that dream has now become a nightmare.
Martin? Where are you going?
I'm going to Selma to march.
I'm tired of you always going off march and leaving me alone here with these kids.
Okay, you know what? You know what?
What?
I try to be nice. I've got signs. The kids helped out with the signs.
We are citizens of the world.
I have to go and march. I've been bitten in the ass by dogs, hosed down, had bullets thrown at me, and none of them had hurt me more than your mouth. Hey, listen, shut the hell up. Do you know how that hurts my head? All these neighbors see me yelling at you right now. That makes me look crazy. I'm Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King.
Malcolm X is the father of your youngest child.
Bitch.
I don't like to talk about who my big daddy is because he's married, and as president that would be bad.
Succulent, tender breast of life that breathes, lives in the deepest depth of my ocean.
So, are you going with the chicken or the fish?
The chicken.
Good choice, Maya. I love the dark meat. Shh.
Miss Coretta.
Hello, Coretta. I don't have a problem having a problem if I have a problem with you.
Coretta. She hung up. Malcolm! Oh!
What's the problem?
So I know we have all had our problems with each other, but I'm glad to have you all in my life. Aww.
All right, ladies, let's go. Y'all know you're in the whites only section. Let's go.
Rosa, come on. What is okay?
Hey, you too. Let's go.
You don't have to refuse to give up your seat everywhere we go.
Come on. Hey, enjoy your meal now, ma'am. And chicken is delicious here. All right. All right.
I just feel like the Plan B pill is the best thing to happen since like.
Sydney. Okay. You know what? You know what we need? You're disgusting.
I'm responsible.
Another round, please. Please, because
Kyle.
in order to hear this.
Shots. Shot. 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 Shot.
Got his job on the line.
Guys, get the fuck out. They give you a liquor license to not pour them. Let's go.
Life.
Let's live.
Life in the Plan B on 3.
You're so ridiculous. Life. Woo!
That was good.
Another round, mon frere. I want my own Obama.
What's that? You say something?
Hey, sorry, did I wake you, Xavier?
Oh, that's all right.
Nefetari.
That's right, Neff. How can I forget such a beautiful name?
That's a good question.
Well, I guess I better bounce, huh? Unless you talking about hooking up some breakfast.
Oh, no, you go ahead and bounce. I'm sure you got a job to get to. What is it that you do again?
I'm a scientist.
Oh, what kind?
Freelance.
So you just walk around doing experiments?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Well, I guess I better go. It's been fun, huh?
Good times.
Hey, you think you could float me a couple of dollars for the bus?
Ain't this a...
What?
Let me introduce myself. My name is Nefetari Taylor, but you can call me Neff for short. I'm originally from Chi-Town, but I live here in Los Angeles, and I'm an actress. I know you're saying, girl, everybody in Los Angeles is an actress. I know, right? But listen, here's my dilemma. Ever since college, I have not taken control of my life, especially when it comes to men. Like, I just let shit happen. If a man asks me out, I'm just gonna go on a date instead of going for what it is that I really want in my life. And right now, what I really want in my life is to find my own Obama. No, not the real Obama, but a man that has his characteristics and his qualities. You know what I'm saying? Let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, let's take a look. Now you see right here, he has a bus pass, which leads me to believe that he has no car, which means no income. And he's wearing a jersey, and he just asked me for $20, so we all know he does not play for the team. Now, let's pan up a little bit and take a look at this hat. We all know he is too damn old to be wearing a hat cocked to the side. Now, pan down with me for a little bit. You see right here? He's wearing jeans with a crease, which lets me know that he lives at home with his mama. Now, don't get me wrong. I want a man who loves his mother. I just don't want no mama's boy. That is a big difference. All right, now let's look over at his wrist. That's a $1,000 watch, which is a frivolous and ignorant purchase when we all know he don't even have a car. Like, why would you do that? That's so crazy. All right, now, you see right here, this region right here? We all know he ain't seen no parts of the gym. I'm just saying. So, let me recap. I don't need a man with no job, living at home with his mama, and clearly hasn't been to the gym and just plain ignorant. This is not the man that I'm looking for. All right, now let's take a look at this guy, my favorite. Now, at first glimpse, you may think, oh, he's a nerd. No offense. But let's take a look deeper, shall we? Now, you can tell that he has gotten a fresh cut within the last 10 days. All right? All that means is that he is not balling where he's got to get a fresh cut every 4 days. He looks presentable and he takes enough stock in himself. He's busy, but he's not too busy for you. You know what I'm saying? All right, now you see right here, he's got a briefcase. Let's take a look. Can we do that? Okay. Now inside, you're going to see files for work. Ooh, and some charts and some graphs and shit. Ooh, and there's outliers, which means that he reads. And ladies, I even overheard him saying he's rolling over his IRA. That is a no-brainer. He's well-spoken, he's educated, clearly he's in the gym, he's father material, and he's a gentleman. These are all of the things that I should be looking for in my own Obama. I am telling you here, and you heard it here first, my name is Nefetari Taylor, and I am going to find my own Obama.